You are Locked On Ole Miss, your daily podcast on the Ole Miss Rebels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks for making the Locked On Ole Miss podcast your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcast, including YouTube. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Hello, I'm Steven Willis from the Locked On Ole Miss podcast. He is Tom Vanderford, who is apparently from the emergency room, and he's coming back on the show. He's feeling a little bit better. Tom, man, it's good to have you back because I did not anticipate waking up that morning saying, hey, I had a heart attack.
Well, I didn't either. I just thought it was COVID complications, but thank God for the people at Magnolia Hospital and Dr. Morgan. They saved my life.
Yeah. Tell me, what happened? How did it go down?
Well, I had COVID pneumonia.
Okay.
And I woke up at 2:00 in the morning, Tuesday morning, last Tuesday morning. Felt like something was sitting on my chest. It didn't hurt in any of my extremities, but took a shower. Didn't want to wake my wife up because she had took me to the emergency room exactly a week earlier with the pneumonia thing. Drove myself to the emergency room at the hospital thinking it was just, residual COVID complications. And I walked in, but by the time I got there, I'd gotten kind of where it was hard to see and stuff on the way there. So when I walked in, I told them I was having chest pains, and next thing I knew, I was getting a heart cath and a stent.
So when did your wife find out?
Well, that's the funny thing. I sent her a text because I wanted her to be able to sleep in, and told her, hey, when you wake up, I just want you to know I had a heart attack. So after the procedure, she comes into the room and she's like, I hope there's not a next time, but if there is, excuse me, but if there is, please wake me up.
It was one of those things. I think the heart attack would have been the least of my problem if I'd have done that to Becky.
Oh yeah, it was. I got a severe talking to about it.
Well, anyway, man, I'm glad you're back. I'm glad you're able to do this. I hate that you had to miss that game live. The Ole Miss Georgia game, I've never seen Vaught Hemingway look like that. And Ole Miss just absolutely dominated Georgia, but I understand them not wanting you to watch it.
Yeah, I get my blood pressure gets a little bit too high when I watch the Rebels live, but I had lots of support on Twitter and Facebook, and people were sending me texts, hey, you can start watching it now. It's good. So I've only seen it 4 or 5 times since then, but
it was pretty fantastic. I think the only bad thing of the whole day was them prematurely storming the field.
Yeah, I think rightfully so. Lane got a little upset with that one, but it's the highest AP win we've ever had. So
at home, because I think Alabama was that on the road.
Yeah, exactly. So, things are progressing in the right direction. We, a lot of people probably thought we would be at 8-2 at this point. They just probably thought we would have lost to possibly LSU and Georgia. So I'll take it.
If Ole Miss would have lost to LSU and Georgia, they would have Texas's resume.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, everyone talks about a blessing from a dark situation. The way that Ole Miss lost 2 games is better than the alternative.
Oh, gotcha.
Absolutely.
Gotcha, yeah, because we completely dominated Georgia, and Georgia completely dominated Texas. So I'm not big into the transitive property thing, but I will say this. I think the Rebels have proven, especially if they go into Florida and dominate state, that they deserve to be in the playoffs.
Man, I told Becky after that game, it's like, this feels so much like 2008. It's crazy.
Yeah.
the way that they handled Arkansas and then handled Georgia, if it continues and they go down to Florida and they do the same thing to Mississippi State, it's just a situation where the freight train is getting rolling.
I completely agree. I don't think there were many teams in the country that could have beat that 2008 Ole Miss team. I definitely feel that way about this. I'm not the only one, but I'm looking forward to Princely Uman Mielen going back to Florida for a homecoming. I think he's going to wreak havoc, as well as the rest of our defensive line. They're going to be healthy. I saw where Trey Harris said today he was going to be available for Florida. So things are good.
There's a 50-50 on that account. I saw that it was retweeted by Avery Braxton from ABC 24 in Memphis, but there's been people that said that's not his account or that was not Trey's account.
Could be.
Yeah, so I'm not 100% sure. So we'll check out the injury report when it comes out next week, because I almost guarantee that Lane is going to be at least very coy about this situation.
Well, exactly. And, if it was me, I would go ahead and rest him out. I'm not trying to be negative about the situation, but if he's not 100%, let him get to 100%. It's been my observation this year. When he does play, we tend to go to him a whole lot, maybe too much. And we have plenty of capable receivers, tight ends, so on and so forth. And it actually opens the field up a lot when we're not concentrating just on Trey.
All right. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about the Florida Gators game and Ole Miss playing their last 2 regular season games. It's playoffs, win and you're in. And the Rebels have the Florida Gators in 7 or 6 days. But until then, nothing delivers comfort and joy quite like the unrivaled quality and taste of Omaha Steaks. This year, skip the holiday hustle and bustle to save 50% off gourmet gifts site-wide on omahasteaks.com. Plus, you can get a $30 reward card when you shop early and score an extra $30 off with promo code COLLEGE. With 5 generations of experience, they consistently deliver the world's best steak experience, and gifting experts at Omaha Steaks have made it easier to deliver the perfect gift with thoughtfully curated gift packages starting at $89.99. From legendary steaks to mouthwatering desserts and more, save 50% off site-wide at omahasteaks.com. Plus, our listeners get an extra $30 off with promo code COLLEGE and $30 with a reward card when you shop early. That's 50% off OMAHA steaks.com and an extra $30 off with promo code COLLEGE. Minimum purchase apply. Also, get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel. It's America's #1 sports book. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need in one place to live bet on the NFL. This will be a fun week of sports betting on FanDuel with a potential Georgia revenge tour on the horizon and Texas going to Arkansas. It should be a lot of fun. So when you get the hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page that you placed your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com today and join. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel. It's an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. All right, so Tom disappeared. I don't know where he went during the ad reads. I heard him a little bit, and he kind of disappeared. We'll see if he comes back in a little bit. Ole Miss has Florida this weekend in 6 days. Obviously, this was recorded before the game on Saturday, so we'll see exactly how it goes. But we do not know the status of DJ Lagway and all of that. And this Florida team is going to be a different team with DJ Lagway. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what can happen. Although, Tom, I will say this. If DJ Lagway is 1% less than 100%, I am not putting him in front of that defensive line.
I would not either. that defensive line can wreak havoc on a seasoned quarterback. They've done it all year. Lagway's a great talent, but he's a freshman. Mm-hmm. And also, just like you said, if he's not 100%, I play the Ivy League kid. I play Warner.
Just go in there, earn your NIL money or whatever is happening, being the starting quarterback. You just get to earn it, and then put Lagway back in for Florida State and play that game.
Exactly,
because you should beat Florida State.
Oh yeah, definitely. But so if I'm the head coach at Florida, that's my future. I'm not gonna barter my future for a possible injury.
Yeah, you're not in it for the Birmingham Bowl. Don't worry about the Birmingham Bowl.
Right, exactly.
It's just you're trying to build something for next year. You've got next year. Don't tear up an ACL right now or something like that just completely wrecks next season before it starts.
I completely agree. I feel comfortable that we're not going to have a lethargic, post big win problem. I think we'll be focused. I think we'll be focused for the state game. I think we'll be 10-2.
Now, that sounds about right. Now, the one thing that Ole Miss fans need to remember is the head coach of the defense, the defensive coordinator, is Ron Roberts. He's the defensive coordinator that was in charge of the Auburn Tigers last year. So you saw how Ole Miss handled that Auburn defense and what went on there. And before that, he was the defensive coordinator at Baylor. So the Sugar Bowl, he was the defensive coordinator. So he has some experience going up against Lane Kiffin and what Lane Kiffin likes to do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and he's got some players, although a lot of them are real young. It's not going to be a cakewalk by any stretch of the imagination. Neither is State. Mm-hmm. I know State's, not doing well at all this year, but that's going to be their Super Bowl. They're going to get up for it. And both these games are not going to be gimmies. I just think the way that the Rebels are playing right now, if they'll stay locked in and just show up and show out, they'll win both easily.
Yeah, I think that Ole Miss is going to be able to pick up both wins. And then it's playoff bound for what potentially could be the biggest game in the state of Mississippi, either way, with Ole Miss playing in a playoff game.
Yeah, I've seen some of the speculation that we might play Indiana at Indiana, or we might play Penn State at Penn State.
I can see Penn State, Indiana is probably going to lose to Ohio State. And if that happens, they're not hosting a playoff game. They might not even make the playoffs.
I wouldn't even put them in the playoffs. I mean, nothing against what they've done this year.
Yeah, 11-1 is awesome.
Yeah, but they haven't played any ranked teams. They've had a really, really, really low strength of schedule. So, and I would love to play Penn State.
You like to do that again up in Happy Valley?
Yeah, sure. If that's, I think I saw something where it's us and Penn State, and the winner gets Brigham Young. Throw me in that briar patch.
Yeah, and now going up to Happy Valley, that place is going to be a cauldron. You're going to have a Mississippi school playing in inclement weather. Of course, now, hey, we got global warming happening now and all of that stuff. So it's liable to be 65 degrees up in State College, Pennsylvania. But the whole argument that the Big Ten has said about the bowl game is that the SEC only has an advantage because they don't have to deal with weather, and it would be weather.
Well, I mean, that's true. Weather's rough in the past. But like you said, we've got lots of warm records being set. Who's to say it wouldn't be in the mid-50s or so? And then that negates that.
Thanks again for making the Locked On Ole Miss podcast your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcast, including YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Tom Vanderford joining us for his weekly spot. We're going to make this air on Sunday morning after the weekend's games, but he'll be back on Friday next week. Tom, what do you got planned for this week? Hopefully not having another heart attack.
I don't want to have another heart attack. The Rebs aren't playing, so that's good. just going to sit back and relax. And I want to say thanks to everybody out there that's reached out to me. Thanks for your prayers, good vibes, all that good stuff. I appreciate it. And hotty toddy.
That's the mayor of Corinth himself, Tom Vanderford, right there. Take care, buddy. Thank you very much for joining the show, and we'll see you next week, man.
Thank you, sir.